Coming up today, the Student Programming Board Fall Concert is coming up tomorrow night. What you need to know.
And we will talk about a new exhibit at the San Antonio Zoo, a rat that's been lurking around the corners of CSI, and hear from our new entertainment host, Angelina Delana.
All this and more right now on Newswave. Good afternoon and happy Halloween weekend. Welcome to Newswave. Today is Friday, October 29th. I'm James Crosno.
And I'm Caleb Reed. The Trinity Student Programming Board, or SPB, has announced that Waka Flocka Flame will be heading the SPB Halloween concert along with DJ Who Kid. Waka Waka Flame, is a rapper with popular hit songs such as No Hands and Grove Street Party. While DJ Who Kid has been celebrated in the past with star rapper 50 Cent. Additionally, breakout star Cody Shane will be opening for the pair. The concert will be at the Intramural Field tomorrow on October 30th at 6 o'clock p.m. This will be the first SPB concert since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. SPB is striving to make the concert not only safe and healthy, but also fun and entertaining. Students can enter a raffle to meet Waka Flocka Flame on SPB's Instagram.
For college students looking to go out on Halloween weekend, you probably won't find any razor blades in your candy, but there are still some steps you can take to have a fun and safe time. Firstly, follow all rules and regulations wherever you're going to avoid getting arrested, getting kicked out of school, or injured. Secondly, don't accept a beverage from someone you don't know and never leave your drink unattended. Thirdly, don't drink and drive or accept a ride from someone who's been drinking. Fourthly, think about using the buddy system when going to Halloween parties and try to keep tabs on each other throughout the night. Finally, make sure your phone is fully charged and keep the volume on in case someone tries to contact you. And lastly, trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, you don't have to accept it. Your safety is always more important than a party. Coming up, how you can see jaguars from above at the San Antonio Zoo.
And what Trinity's esports teams are requesting from the university.
And a new furry visitor that has made its way into CSI's home. All after the break.
This is our home. This is our studio, filled with empty seats and cameras waiting to press record again. With remote classes and the COVID-19 pandemic, it's hard not to feel like we've lost a community on campus. When we're not on campus, it's hard to feel home. But home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. And here at Tiger TV, we're bringing that feeling to you. Because while our studio is waiting for us, we haven't stopped bringing you the shows you need. Get involved with some of our diverse programming like Newswave, Studio 21, and The Not So Late Show. Tune in to our YouTube and Vimeo channels if you miss some of the quality campus television programming we make. Just because we're remote, that doesn't mean we're not still together. Because here, home is more than just a place. Home is Tiger TV.
Welcome back to Newswave. Trinity University's esports team is competing at a varsity level as one of 9 teams in the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. They're now asking for their own space. The student-run organization is the only school in the league that does not have their own practice space for members to come together and hone their skills. Quote, lots of these state schools that Trinity is playing have places where the teams can come together, compete, and practice together. And have some of them have recognized their esports teams as a varsity sport, says senior member George Wiggum. That's why I feel so passionate about getting it on campus, because Trinity is known as a really innovative school. It's a high-tier school that people want to go to, but we're lacking that space for the esport area.
In more local news, KSAT.com reports that this Friday, the San Antonio Zoo will open a new Jaguar skywalk in the current Jaguar habitat. Named the Pantera Walk, this bridge will connect the 2 existing Jaguar enclosures, allowing the Jaguars to safely roam over onlookers at the zoo. Developers broke ground on the skywalk in April of 2021, and it will be opening for viewing starting today. In 2016, the zoo introduced 2 new Jaguar cubs, Liam and Milan, who were bred and raised in captivity. If you want to visit these cute Jaguar cubs, the weekend would be a perfect time to visit. and also enjoyed the perfect weather that we're having right now. On September 29th, a rat was spotted by students in a chemistry lab in the Center for Sciences and Innovation. A chemistry faculty member reported the sighting to facilities services to have the animal removed, who in turn hired a third-party contractor to lay out non-lethal glue traps. Since being set in early October, there has not been any success in capturing this rat. To this day, the elusive rat is still at large.
Our international correspondent, Maddie Polyan, sat down with Juan Realpe from Colombia to talk about their global experiences. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Madison Poljan. I've been studying abroad in Stockholm, Sweden for the past 2 months, and today I'm here with my good friend, Juan Realpe, who's going to talk a little bit about his cross-cultural experiences between Colombia and Sweden. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on to the show today.
Thank you for inviting me. I am very excited to tell Trinity University Newswave my experiences.
Let's get right into it then. The first question that I have is if you could talk a little bit about your experience in Sweden so far.
Yes, of course. Well, it's been good actually. I think everyone knows or has the idea that Sweden is very open to hear and understand new perspectives, and it's been good. Of course, like any other place in the world, it can improve. Like its tolerance towards immigrants can improve. Um, so yeah.
So, Juan, you had a bit of an interesting pandemic experience. You spent half of the pandemic thus far in Colombia, and then the other half in Sweden. Would you mind talking a little bit about your experience with that and what it was like, the differences between the two?
Yeah, I spent all of 2020 in Colombia. So when the pandemic first hit, I was in Colombia, and then at the beginning of 2021, I came here to Sweden. That was a huge difference because we're talking about polar opposites. So when the pandemic first hit, I was in Colombia, and it was a very harsh lockdown because it was militarized. So we had permissions. So for example, in my family, like in each family, you could only one person could have permission to go out one day in the week to buy food, and if any other member of the family went out, they would get a fine or would spend the night in jail. So that was really harsh. We didn't have permissions to go out exercise or walking, so that was a big problem. And here in Sweden, people were not so affected by the precaution that we're taking, and that was really good because the militarized lockdown caused a very big economic collapse right now, and that's why there's been a lot of strikes in Colombia. While here in Sweden, some people criticized it, but I think it was good because they didn't affect the economics of the country, so that was good.
Awesome. Wow, that's really interesting. Thank you for sharing your experience on that. So, a bit of a change of topic. Let's talk Halloween. Because Halloween is coming up, and I know in the States we do a lot of pumpkin carving into jack-o'-lanterns. We do a lot of trick-or-treating, and I have found that in Sweden, a lot of people go to this like fancy amusement park called Gröna Lund that gets all decked out for Halloween. Children they'll get dressed up and they won't go trick-or-treating so much as they'll go to like Halloween parties, and ghost parties are a thing. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your favorite Halloween customs from Colombia.
So my favorite tradition is actually, I don't know if it's a tradition, but our sense of community is really big. So when someone makes a very cool outfit, they want to show it off. So we go to the mall, and it's our sense of getting validation from our own community. So when you make something that you're really proud of, you want to show it to the world, and that's our way of showing it to the world. Um, so when kids come and take pictures with you, you feel like, okay, I've shared this thing with them. So I don't know. I think that's my favorite thing. I don't know if you do it in the States or if it happens here in Sweden, but for us, it's very important to show in the mall that what we did. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, and then the final question is, in all of your travels between like Colombia and Sweden, do you have any advice for students who are thinking of going abroad?
My advice, I think you have to be very open about the, the the behaviors that they have in this new country you're visiting. Sweden is a very cold country.
Both physically and emotionally.
Exactly. So sometimes people may seem rude, but they are not actually rude. The same happens in Colombia. We're very open, and sometimes people take that as another sign. Um, but yeah, you have to really be open to understanding our cultural backgrounds.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That makes sense. Going in and being like open to learning more about what the
Exactly,
culture
yeah.
actually has to offer. That way you don't misinterpret it within your
Yeah,
own.
I think that's the best advice because I know you're all going to be happy to come and try Swedish meatballs
Shut the boulard!
or Colombian traditional cuisine. I mean, we're all open to that, but sometimes we don't realize that there's even in the language there's a cultural difference that we cannot take for granted.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming and for being interviewed by Trinity University Newswave. Yes, and thank you guys for watching this incredible interview. Juan is such a great friend, and
Thank you.
he is a really great person with some really great ideas. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Stay tuned. We've got the latest COVID-19 numbers for Behar County after the break.
And then we'll get a listen to what's happening in the world of pop culture from our new entertainment host, Angelia Delina.
We'll be right back.
This is our home. This is our studio, filled with empty seats and cameras waiting to press record again. With remote classes and the COVID-19 pandemic, it's hard not to feel like we've lost a community on campus. When we're not on campus, it's hard to feel home. But home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. And here at Tiger TV, we're bringing that feeling to you. Because while our studio is waiting for us, we haven't stopped bringing you the shows you need. Get involved with some of our diverse programming like Newswave, Studio 21, and The Not So Late Show. Tune in to our YouTube and Vimeo channels if you miss some of the quality campus television programming we make. Just because we're remote, that doesn't mean we're not still together. Because here, home is more than just a place. Home is Tiger TV.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Let's take a look at how San Antonio is doing with COVID-19. According to the latest numbers reported by Behar County and state officials, more than 91% of Behar County has had at least one of the COVID-19 vaccine doses. New daily cases and hospitalizations in the county have been declining steadily since August 20th. As well as this, approximately 76% of eligible residents are fully vaccinated. The city of San Antonio is still offering vaccination clinics and self-testing kits. For more information, you can go to covid19.sanantonio.com.
San Antonio City Councilman for District 8, Manny Pelaez, is on a mission to combat domestic violence with 3 proposals. The first proposal would require schools and universities who receive city funding or who utilize a city facility to opt in to provide age-appropriate curriculum about domestic violence, human trafficking, and child abuse to their students. Those who do not comply will not be able to access public facilities like the Alamo Dome. The second measure would require all places of public accommodation to display in bathrooms clearly visible signage featuring domestic violence and sex trafficking preventative resources. The last proposal would require city-affiliated organizations, departments, or partners like the San Antonio Food Bank to distribute coordinated information as well. Councilman Pelaez states, "If we are not trying to do some preventative work, then we are not doing our job." The councilman is confident that he can get the support to pass these 3 proposals.
And now we're going to hand it over to Angelina for this week's entertainment news. Angelina, welcome to the Newswave.
Thanks, Caleb. Hi, everyone. My name is Angelina Delia, and I'm very excited to be here this week with the entertainment news for y'all. To start us off, the movie everyone's been talking about, Dune. This highly anticipated film premiered last Friday and has already earned a whopping $223 million in box office sales, despite having been released at the same time on HBO Max. The sci-fi epic is based on a series of novels created by Frank Herbert and features a dazzling cast of stars like Zendaya, Timothée Chalamet, Jason Momoa, Javier Bardem, and Oscar Isaac, to name a few. In other celebrity news, actor Harrison Ford, well known for his roles as Indiana Jones and Han Solo, recently took a trip to Sicily, but left something rather important behind: his credit card. Luckily for Ford, his card was found by a Good Samaritan. A German tourist found it and turned it in to the police, who were then able to track the actor down and return his card. Moving on to music, artist Ed Sheeran announced that he tested positive for COVID-19 just days before the debut of his album Equals. The new album, releasing today, is met with great anticipation after 4 years of recording. Unfortunate as the timing is, the singer has reassured fans that he will continue with as many of his upcoming interviews and performances as possible from the safety of his own home. Speaking of his work, Sheeran's song Shape of You previously held the UK record for the highest number of sales in its first week, but that all changed last week with the release of Adele's new single, Easy on Me. The song debuted at #1 in the UK and took the crown with the highest first week streams of any track in chart history. If you haven't given it a listen already, I highly recommend it. And finally, the subject we've all been waiting for, Halloween. It's one of those fantastic years where the underrated holiday falls on a weekend, giving us all a chance to celebrate. Whether your plans this weekend are to party it up or just gorge yourself with candy, I've got a list of movie recommendations to put you in the spooky spirit. #1 is one of my personal favorites, a movie so versatile that you can watch it for 2 holidays, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Of course, you can't watch one Tim Burton film without the other, so #2 has to be The Corpse Bride. The next few are a bit more classically scary. We've got Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Friday the 13th as numbers 3, 4, and 5. And next we've got some classics, although I may be completely biased because these are some of my favorite Halloween movies of all time. First up, we've got Edward Scissorhands at #6, followed by Beetlejuice and Hocus Pocus at numbers 7 and 8, and Ghostbusters is #9. Last but certainly not least, we've got #10, Halloween, obviously. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all stay safe this weekend, and happy Halloween.
Thanks, Angelina, and welcome to Newswave. I'm surely excited to see Dune next week, and I'll have to check out some of those movie recommendations over the weekend. Still ahead on Newswave, your update on sports from Caleb.
And our student expert interviewer, Devin Karp, talks to senior and choir assistant Olivia Weirung.
We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Follow the path that empowers you to be your best self. Surround yourself with people who embrace your quirks, who don't settle, who seek a life without regret, who know how to win, but aren't afraid to fail. Be part of an elite network with those who know what success is all about. Be brave enough to have a fulfilled life. Trinity University. Discover, grow, become.
Welcome back to Newswave. I am Caleb Reed, and here's your sports news for this week. Soccer action last week saw 2 streaks end, unfortunately. Trinity's women's team lost 6-1, breaking a 3-game winning streak, while the men's team broke a perfect season with a 1-1 tie. They have still not lost a game this year. Volleyball won all 4 of their games last weekend at the SCAC divisional tournament, dropping only 1 set in 4 total games. Meanwhile, football continued their dominating season, winning on the road in Tennessee 66-7. Tomorrow, football plays Hendrix here at Trinity starting at noon. Cross country also has a big meet, their championship meet, tomorrow on Saturday, starting at 8:30 a.m. In pro sports, the Spurs have dropped their 4th straight, with a most recent loss being a 104-99 loss against Dallas last night. Tonight they play Milwaukee in Milwaukee starting at 7. Also, now in baseball, the World Series continues action with games moving to Atlanta. The series is currently tied at 1-1 after Houston won Tuesday night's game 7-2. Finally, and this is more personal for me, the Formula One U.S. Grand Prix was in Austin last week, with the Dutchman Max Verstappen winning over the Englishman Lewis Hamilton. That's all for me.
Thank you, Caleb. Our executive producer, Devin Karp, is back again with student experts. This time we'll hear from a music education major and a choir singer to learn more about the musical side of campus. Let's take a look.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to Student Expert. My name's Devin Karp, and I'm trying to get across campus to hear from different students just like you that can tell us about their amazing experiences in lots of different majors. Today we have with us Olivia Wera. Olivia, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
So would you like to explain a little bit off the top of the bat what you do at Trinity?
Yes, so I'm a music major, and so I do a lot of music things. And so a lot of music classes. I'm also a teaching minor, so lots of general education courses. I'm in our chamber singers, which is our touring choir. I'm in the acapellas, which is the treble acapella group. I'm in the Phi Epsilon, which is a professional music fraternity. And I'm also a tour guide on campus.
Wow, so least to say you're pretty involved.
A little bit.
So what's it like being on choir at Trinity? 3, 2.
It's a wonderful experience. It's a place where so many people from so many different majors and backgrounds in high school and different places from across the country come, and we have this one thing that unites us, that we love singing in an ensemble, and we have so many different majors represented in choir. I don't know the exact statistic, but I'd say like roughly a quarter of us are music majors, so that's a bunch of people who are computer science or neuroscience or economics or business or Spanish. We just have so many different people, and that's how I've met a lot of people in different corners of campus that I probably wouldn't have met in my classes.
Wow, so a lot of people from different walks of life coming together to put one thing together.
Exactly.
I feel like everyone at Tiger TV can somehow relate to that. So what's it like being able to put together something so artistic such as music with so many different minds?
It's really special. We spend in chamber singers 4 days a week rehearsing, and if you do the math, it's about 4.5 or 5 hours per week. And so it's a lot of work. It's not easy for sure, but it allows us to escape the challenges that come with being a college student and kind of channel our energy and our emotions into our music. Dr. Safin, he told us that he used to say, leave all your emotions at the door, like come here and focus on choir. But throughout his time at Trinity, he's kind of come to realize that no, we need those emotions in choir. We need all your feelings, all your stresses, and use that to fuel you and just channel it into the musicianship.
Wow, that's really wonderful. So give me some benefits and, without being too negative, just what's tough and what's great about being in choir.
I'll start with the negatives to end on a lighter note. It's a lot of time, and there are some weeks where it's not very noticeable, and then there's some weeks where it is very noticeable, and we would really rather have that hour and a half on a Tuesday afternoon to study for an exam you have the next day. But coming into rehearsal, even if you are kind of feeling frustrated with just the fact that you have an hour and a half where you're not studying or being productive in another way, you often leave feeling refreshed, and because you're able to connect with your friends, you're able to kind of blow off some steam by channeling all that frustration into your music.
What's it been like taking a journey in choir from a freshman, first of all, to now a senior?
Well, it's been quite the journey, because no 2 years have been the same. Freshman year was normal, and it was very exciting. And sophomore year started out sort of normal, but we did have a visiting professor because Dr. Safin was on sabbatical. So it was normal, but with a slight twist. And then the spring started out normal, and then, as we all know, spring of 2020 did not end normally. And so a lot of kind of sitting back and re-examining how we do choir at Trinity. I had a few moments where I was like, am I even sure that I want to be a music educator? Like, is this what I want to do? And then a whole year of Zoom rehearsals, rehearsing outside, and then ultimately we ended up rehearsing in a parking garage that's under Northrop. Not many people know about it, but it's a pretty nice space. It's a little bit loud, but that's where we ended up rehearsing, and it has really helped me appreciate what normal choir is like. And so this semester, where we're back in the choir room and we're back sitting close to each other, we just have masks on, and we're mindful about space. But whenever I start feeling frustrated with one thing or another, I remind myself it could be much worse. We could be where we were exactly a year ago, and then it kind of helps put some perspective on that.
Yeah.
I like to describe my job as making Dr. Safeman's job easier.
Yeah.
So kind of like his behind the scenes minion, I do a lot of photocopying. I'll arrange the chairs at the beginning of choir rehearsals. I'll put out new music, and I keep the over 2,000, I'll keep our library of over 2,000 works organized. And
over 2,000?
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of years that this choir has been. It takes a while to accumulate it, but it's a lot, but I like organization and filing, so it's fun.
Well, again, Olivia, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate you talking to us a little bit about choir. All right, if you want to, you got this camera right back here. What would you say to any students who are undecided about maybe being a music education major, maybe wondering about joining any of the music groups, the choir on campus? Let them know.
I would recommend I would recommend speaking to someone, a student who is involved in those groups, because they can give you the real deal, and they'll be real about how challenging it can be at sometimes, but they can also really share the benefits that you will experience as a member of any music group or a member of the music department.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time, Olivia. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, back to you all in the studio.
Thanks, Devin. It's a pleasure as always. Angelina, congratulations on your first episode with Newswave. How'd you feel?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was really excited to be here. You know, this is what I want to do in the future, so it's really awesome. My first time kind of doing anything like this and getting to talk about entertainment, you know, Halloween movies. That's my plan for the weekend. What about you guys?
I don't know. I live a pretty boring life, to be totally honest. Probably just gonna stay in my room, do some homework. I'm gonna go to the cross-country meet tomorrow morning, and then Sunday night Cowboys football game. But other than that, nothing too crazy.
Similar to y'all, I've got movies to watch, homework to do, and preferably the Cowboys to watch if I get that all done. But either way, that's all the time that we're gonna have this week. Make sure to join us next time on Friday, November 5th.
And from everyone at the Newswave, we hope that you have a very safe weekend. I'm Caleb Reed.
I'm Angelina D'Elia.
And I'm James Crosno. We'll see you next week.